early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month, I got that pull. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
What's going on, everybody? You're in the building with the all knowing, all loving, all feeling, all seeing, all powerful, and all birthday boy today. Just damn all everything sexy as hell host me, Lamont Tyson, bringing you guys politics of being black. And let me explain to you how we do things on this channel. We pick a couple of predetermined topics and we try to explain to you how they deal with minorities and how minorities deal with all of the United States. And we are all about debunking Republican white male patriarchy myths that they have put upon society that they use to keep you at bay from reaching glory. And that starts right at the top with Donald fucking Trump. And so without ado, people, let's get into it. I will check all super chats. Any birthday super chats, I save those for the end and I'll take your questions then. If you have a comment or a question on any of the things we covered today, because we're going to talk about Zohran Mamdani showing leadership, comedian Godfrey having a good laugh at black people celebrating Cinco de Mayo, Trump becoming Taco Trump again, and this time done got Saudi Arabia involved, and voters on Fox News going rogue on Trump. All that starts right now. Let's go ahead and get on what's going on with the war, Iran and Trump. So Trump backed down yesterday. And if you guys recall, you remember Saudi Arabia sent Trump a damn jet that's supposed to be Air Force One, and he took it. Have you guys seen how all these American rich dudes are getting in bed with the Saudi prince? Live Golf is an example, when they're supposed to have been our enemy. See, there's the hypocrisy right there. White rich dudes told you we're supposed to hate Saudi Arabia, but yet they're taking their money from them. Well, let's see how Saudi Arabia decided to intervene in the war. Take a look at this. This comes to us from the Midas Touch.
So this is absolutely stunning. Donald Trump's so-called Project Freedom reportedly collapsed in about 24 hours after Saudi Arabia blocked the U.S. military from using key Saudi bases and airspace for the operation. This is some crazy reporting from NBC News. Here's what reportedly happened. Trump announced the new military operation in the Strait of Hormuz, claiming that the U.S. would help escort ships through the area as tensions were escalating. That took effect Monday, and by Tuesday, Trump put it on pause, and he did this whole post saying it was a huge military success, even though no ships were transported through. But according to this new NBC reporting, Trump actually scrapped the operation because Saudi leadership was furious that Trump launched this without properly coordinating with them first. The report says that Saudi Arabia then informed the U.S. military that it could not fly any aircraft out of Prince Sultan Air Base or even through Saudi airspace to support the mission. That's a huge deal because the operation reportedly depended on U.S. fighter jets, refueling aircraft, and surveillance flights operating in that exact airspace. That's right, the Saudis banned Trump from using their bases or airspace. This is wild. NBC also reports that Trump personally called Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, but the dispute was not resolved and Trump was ultimately forced to pause the operation. This is absolutely wild. The President of the United States announces a major military operation before securing cooperation from the Saudis, and the whole thing immediately starts falling apart. And then Trump tries to spike the football and call the whole thing a win. What a huge embarrassment. We'll keep following the story. Follow for more updates and listen to the Midas Touch podcast for more. We've got new episodes out now. Check them out.
Folks, this is comical. It's sad, but it's comical. If you are a MAGA person, you probably turned that shit off within the first 2 seconds because you don't want to hear that your dear leader is a liar. He's not respected. Everybody in the world knows that he's an idiot and they're just using him. You know how some of you white guys love to try to say when Trump said grab him by the pussy, that was just locker room banter? Well, that's what everybody's doing to Trump. They pulling his panty drawers down and grabbing his balls till they stretch to the floor because they know he's a dork. He's dumb. He's not smart. Say nice things to him and you can win him over. He took a jet from the Saudi prince. WWE and other rich white dudes who told you to hate Saudi Arabia done got in bed with Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia pretty much has say so in anything we do in the United States, but they don't tell you that. This deal Paramount is doing with WB, guess who's one of the biggest investors in that deal? Saudi Arabia. How you MAGA folks like that? You MAGA America First folks. Let's just get to the bottom of this. Trump is not a good war president. Hell, Trump dodged the military himself, pretending like he had bone spurs. How many of you all have service members in your family that couldn't do that because they didn't have a rich daddy? We need to just pull rank and leave right now. We just need to leave. But Trump's ego is not going to allow him to do that. It's not going to allow him to do that. He disrespected Saudi Arabia by just basically coming on deer and saying he's going to use them without consulting them. And when you're investing this kind of money into the United States, they want to know your every move. They do. And he didn't do that. And so they just said, oh, no, pump the brakes on that, buddy. Was you asleep when you said you was going to do this with us? Did you forget to give us a call? And so now Operation whatever he named the shit, Warhammer, War Deck, Come Home, whatever you want to call it, is in jeopardy. And the longer this thing goes on, the more American people suffer the prices of everything that has to come through that straight. Gas, things that are made from petroleum, rubber, medicines, materials. We suffer. And the very people that chose hate over the food on their plate are nowhere to be found, except for a handful. Trump's approval rating has dropped down into the 20s. And it needs to really be 15. But folks, don't buy into any of that until you see what happens at the polls. Post your comments and let me know what you think. When is this going to end? When is money going to actually be diverted to the American people and stop blowing billions of dollars on the war that we shouldn't be in the first place? Post your comments, let me know what you think. Next, folks, a place that's usually pretty good to Trump and MAGA is starting to see their base and voters peel away. So there's a popular show that comes on Fox News, and this is a shout out to the young lady who runs a great IG called Decoded Fox. She takes the time to go through and deal with the bull jive that most of us who have critical thinking skills can't deal with, to find some of the best clips. She found a clip where a MAGA voter went rogue. Take a look at this. This is Fox News.
So this clip has been getting a lot of buzz. Earlier this week, a woman identified simply as Mary Josephine had a kind of surprising answer on a voting panel on the Faulkner Focus. She's appeared on Fox News for the past 5 years, and I'm going to show you all the appearances I could find.
Everybody voting? Just about. All but one. So I'm going to come to you. I want to know what holds you back this time from voting.
Well, honestly, what has been holding me back is I feel like the change that I was expecting from the president himself, I don't feel in my everyday life, which is concerning to me. I still feel, obviously, that, prices are very, very, very high. If you're going to the grocery store or just in general, because inflation still exists. Unfortunately, now we have the higher gas prices, which really hurt, everyday people in their pocket. And I've voted my entire life. And the frustration right now is, it's just unbelievable, because what really changes? I just feel like that we're kind of, kind of steering the ship in the same direction.
Last year, voter panel, same show, Trump's first 100 days, first name only, April 30th, 2025. She's listed as an independent voter. 2 other voters from the previous panel were also on the same panel. Next, March 10th, 2025. She's listed as a business manager talking about the high cost of eggs at her place of business. We get her full name, Mary Josephine Generoso. Moving on to a segment about what independent voters thought of Trump. We get her full name again, August 26th, 2024. She praised Trump at length. Then we move on to third-party spoiler. What will happen? July 18th, 2023, listed as an independent voter. We get her full name again. Moving on to the Ingram angle. She's talking about inflation. Now she's a business manager again, February 10th, 2022. Moving on to another segment about COVID-19 regulations in New York City. She was very angry about them. December 6th, 2021, listed as a business manager. Get her full name again. Full name, business manager, August 18th, 2021, COVID-19 regulations. And then finally, the first time she appeared on Fox, at least what I could find, August 17th, 2021, business manager complaining about COVID-19 regulations with her husband.
Man, this bitch, this is a plant. This bitch is paid by Fox. She's paid. And at the end, when she was, in the beginning, when she was talking about the price of everything, folks, that is more of white America falling for the banana in the tailpipe that Republicans are better for the economy than Democrats. That's what that is. Republicans have done a great job of pretending that they're, excuse me, it almost made me choke, that they're going to drain the swamp, when what the white Americans didn't realize was the swamp is Trump. So let's just go down this list first and foremost. If you do the history of what the economy is doing under Democrat versus Republican, the stock market does better under Democrats. Now, what is it that white America has taught Republicans to believe? That Republicans are fiscally responsible. Lie. If you do the data, the deficit explodes more under Republicans than it ever has a Democrat. And I'll just name you one person who has done more to explode the deficit than 4 Democrats combined: Donald Trump. Number 2, they would have you believe that the reason you can't make it in life is because of taxes, and the Democrats are the ones creating the taxes. But this is what they don't tell you, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they don't tell you. This is the banana in the tailpipe that they forget to tell conveniently. When they do tax cuts, have you ever noticed how they do not talk about what taxes got cut? So folks who live in soundbite Fox News, they hear tax cuts, and somehow, some way, they think that their taxes got cut, when most of those motherfuckers are not business owners. They pay income taxes. They will never cut your income taxes. They cut shit that doesn't affect you, like wealth taxes. They cut estate taxes. They cut corporate taxes. They do not cut your taxes. And then they had you believe that this trickle-down economic shit would work. All that trickles down to you is lies. Democrats put things in place to try to make sure that corporate America can leverage all their wealth to help the middle-class people and the poor. Pay for their health care. Pay for their insurance. Since you've told people that the government should have no part in their lives, then you need to take up the responsibility, corporation, and do it. But Fox News and Republicans have been so good at spinning a story and so good at getting rid of education so that people can't rub together 2 cogent brain cells and understand how life works with evidence, critical thinking, and science, that they believe these false narratives. And now their hate is not putting food on their fucking plate. Post your comments down below and let me know what you think. Now let's get to a story of a Democrat who has decided he's not going to go with the status quo. He is not going to be some moderate, but truly is a liberal, but parading around as if he's moderate. And guess what, folks? He's getting shit done. I'm talking about my boy, Zohran Mamdani, who came in on a populist message of affordability. How do you get affordability? There's only one way, people. If you do not run or own the corporation, the only way you get affordability is if you make them people fix things to be affordable. You're not going to make them put more money in people's pockets. We've already learned trickle-down economics doesn't work. So the only other angle you can come from is to force corporations to do more. And that's what he's doing. So he won a lawsuit against slumlords in New York, $31 million. And there was only 2 of them. Take a look at this story, ladies and gentlemen. My boy, Zohran Mamdani.
City Mayor Zohran Mamdani today announcing the largest settlement in city history with what he calls bad landlords in the Bronx. Those landlords will now pay $31 million after the mayor says tenants were forced to live in horrible conditions for years. Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis live in the Morrisania section with more on this story. Marcus.
Well, Dave, those residents hoping for some long-awaited repairs and improvements that they've been demanding for years. When these buildings were built, Mitchell-Lama housing back in the 60s, they promised luxury living at affordable prices. The buildings have changed ownership several times. The mayor says the conditions have devolved into inhumane conditions. 2 years ago, HPD took the landlords to court, and today the city says they've won big.
It's the best news we could have ever hoped for. Cautious optimism after what residents describe as years of horrible living conditions at Robert Fulton Terrace, twin 18-story high-rises with over 300 units. Today, the city announcing it has secured $31 million in penalties against 2 Bronx landlords, $900,000 of which will go to making immediate repairs.
These funds come directly from the landlords' accounts, money that should have otherwise been allocated towards this work long ago. And we will not only make the urgent repairs that are needed today, but also the long-term improvements that tenants deserve.
The settlement establishes a chief restructuring officer who will hire a property manager. For years, residents say they've lived with frequent elevator outages, lack of hot water, and general disrepair on balconies and inside apartments that has resulted in rat infestation.
Should not be boiling water to bathe. Not in 2026. That is completely unacceptable, right? So I'm hopeful.
Well, the settlement also includes the Fordham Tower, which is a sister building to these on 188th Street. The landlords are Karan Singh and Rajmati Prasad. Both are on the public advocate's worst landlords list. We're live in Mauritania. Marcus Solis, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Marcus, thank you.
Damn. Do you know how bad of a landlord you got to be to supersede the Trump family and their poor-ass slumlord abilities that they learned from their daddy? They used to be some of the worst slumlords in New York. Now, I'm happy Mamdani put his head down and said he's not going to be dealing with these limbo-bodied, weak Democrats who kowtower to AIPAC, who kowtower to the corporations, who say fuck it, and lie to us about not being part of the swamp when they are. And he's ramrodding whatever he can to help the people. Now, I hope that all that money goes toward helping the people, not just the $900,000 mentioned, but all of it, maybe some kind of rent affordability quota, maybe using some of that money to build more affordable housing, something like that. But this is a model Democrats can take throughout the whole entire United States. And they can also take the mantra I'm speaking, debunk these societal myths that have been put in place to keep people from voting together to get things done as a unit. Because that's what the slumlords and all them would vote Republican for, because they all get mad that regulations cause them not to be able to make money. Now, folks, don't get me wrong. I have done business in trucking, early child care, medicine, respiratory care, authorizations with Medicaid, YouTube, stocks, real estate. I'm a landlord too. And yes, some of these regulations are cumbersome and they do need to be streamlined. I 100% agree we should streamline some regulations. But a lot of the regulations get streamlined in places taken over by Republicans as a means to circumvent giving people what they need. Mamdani's not having it. Thank goodness he's not having it. And he needs to go around and do speeches and tours helping other Democrats have some backbone, because we're never going to get out of this swamp if Democrats want to get back in office, play nice, and think that enough American people have grown from a second Trump term that they'll start voting their own interests. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to get in there, wield that power the way Mamdani is doing it, and then do something about that Supreme Court, do something about education so that we don't allow the American people to keep falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Good job, Zohran. Post your comments. Let me know how you're feeling about my man, Zohran Mamdani. Now, folks, let's get to another story that is making waves. Prosecutions with ICE, folks. Not too long ago, ICE was the biggest story we had. It goes from Epstein to ICE to now the war. It is almost as if this Trump administration is the office of pedophiles. That's got to be something you've got to have in order to be in the administration. Keeps trying to push things away that could get them in trouble. So take a look at this.
ICE is a criminal organization. They're coming into our state. They're terrorizing people. They're racially profiling people, and they're harming people and committing violence against them. I'm in favor of abolishing ICE. But along the way, I did push for the sanctuary state law, which I absolutely believe in. But more than that, we should be prosecuting ICE agents for racial profiling. It's illegal in the state of California. We should be prosecuting them for violence against Californians. It's illegal, and we should go up the chain to the people who asked them to commit violence, including Stephen Miller. The truth is, we should be investigating their detention centers that they will not show that are dangerous, and they won't let anyone in, and I guess you can figure why. We should be protecting immigrants. The state was built by immigrants. They continue to make this state run, and the idea that we let agents from Washington, D.C. with masks and assault rifles come in here and terrorize them is absolutely against Californian values, and the governor is here to protect Californians.
Hey, maybe Zohran is rubbing off. Now, I agree with most of what he said. Now, yes, should we get rid of ICE? Yes, but we need to replace it with something cogent. We need to replace that whole entire process with something that actually is more streamlined and is better to help immigrants become citizens. The way the Trump administration has handled it is atrocious. We've got detention centers that are for-profit centers, which is why the things we see happening are happening. People are getting separated from their families, and there's no line of figuring out where they're at. That is nothing humane about that. And I don't understand. Well, I do understand. I was going to say, I don't understand how these MAGA Christians can sit around and act like that's good when their Bible tells them Jesus Christ was an immigrant, but I digress. I don't know how they do monkey double backflips in their mind to think it's okay for someone to get separated from their family, criminal or not. In most cases, these people are not criminals, and not be able to get phone calls, not be able to be found. Don't know if they done sent them to someplace in Nigeria, someplace in the Netherlands. You don't know where they sent them at, but they're okay with that shit because they're not really Christians, folks. Here's the thing. Steyer and other Democrats, if you say this stuff, you need to do it. And not just say investigate. Stephen Miller and pretty much everybody in the Trump administration, they need to go to jail. There is, fuck the investigation. Pass and go as if this is Monopoly. Straight to jail. Investigate nothing. We know the crimes they have committed. We know who has ordered these crimes. We know who have had them do this stuff, and their asses need to go to jail. And some of those brazen ICE members that just said, the hell with it, I am down with the Oath Keepers, I am down for my Lord Trump, they asses need to go to jail too. This is not some 10-year investigation we need to do. We already know who's wrong. Arrest them. As Trump said about Hillary, lock them up immediately. I don't need to have this kind of flim-flam talk. We need to investigate. That's not enough action. We need to be locking them up. We need to be putting them in jail. We need to be getting rid of these detention camps. We need to be replacing ICE with something that's more systematic, something that's more in line with humanity, and we need to be implementing that as soon as you get power. Post your comments, let me know what you think. Are you guys, if you live in California, how do you feel about Steyer? Now, I do wonder about him if he's just doing a whole lot of tough talk. I want to know if anybody's going to follow through. You guys let me know, and we'll go to the last subject of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It is my boy, comedian Godfrey. He does these wonderful, wonderful, funny takes. I want you guys to hear what he had to say on this one, and then we'll wrap it up.
This video is so wonderful. You know why? Because I totally agree with this woman. But you all do what you want to do. But this video, I just had to show it. It's hilarious.
Sit your black ass down. You're not no Mexican. Talking about something. We going out for Cinco de Mayo. Stay your ass in the house. You're looking for a reason to go out and eat tacos and get your back bigger and drink cheap tequila. Stay your ass home and clean that motherfucking microwave out. You can wipe off the top of that refrigerator, dust down them baseboards, and get them nasty pubic hairs out the corners in your bathroom. Stay home and do that. Talking about some Cinco de Mayo. You Cinco de Stay your black ass home. They not nowhere celebrating your motherfucking African descendant ass.
Okay, folks. So that's a funny, like, stereotypical joke. And let's just be 100% about this thing. We do have Juneteenth, but Trump is trying to shut that shit down. Ironically, we started Juneteenth under him, and now it's about to get shut down under him. He's trying to shut it down. And I think her anger comes from the fact that you had so many Latinas for Trump. So many delusion Latinas for Trump. And the reason we have a lot of immigrants and folks that come to America voting Republican is because they associate America, quote unquote, strength with white patriarchy. So they think they should be trying to assimilate to the white patriarchy, not understanding that the white patriarchy would throw your ass under the bus the minute you turn your back. Cash Cockeyed Patel, when they are done with him, that man ain't gonna have no girlfriend. He probably ain't gonna have that cockeyed no more. And I guarantee you, the only way he's gonna save himself is to go bleach his skin and dye his hair blonde. It's simple as that. I get what she's saying, folks, but let us not forget to celebrate the heritage that have been struggling, even though I'm pissed off with the Latinos for Trump too, and their behavior. And then they always try to say they voted this way because of God. Last I checked, what has the Republican Party done that's anywhere near Christian? Why are we trying to make policy based on one group of people's religious party? Why? It shouldn't be that way, and it was never intended to be that way. It's just that what happens with most religions, and particularly Christian religion, they get you to thinking you can disarm yourself, just believe in God Almighty, and you don't need to arm yourself with critical thought. You don't need to arm yourself with education. And for some reason, folks continue to fall for that banana in the tailpipe. And so while that was funny, I would say if you want to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, go celebrate it. Go celebrate it with those who have celebrated Juneteenth with us. Have yourself a good time. My gripe about Cinco de Mayo and Mother's Day, my birthday is caught in between those two MFers. So any love for me gets sandwiched, okay? You got Cinco de Mayo, which was 2 days ago. My birthday's today, then Mother's Day's this weekend. No love for me. But folks, I'm good. And I will do the best I can to have a very, very good day and enjoy all things we do. So all you new people coming to my channel, thank you so much. Please subscribe, please share. And if you didn't know, I go live every single day, not just for politics, but I trade stocks too. This is my stock channel, Win by Losing in Stocks. Today, I was able to catch NVIDIA. This is actually the second day I caught NVIDIA. And in 2 days, I've pretty much made close to $1,000 on NVIDIA trading. You can go in my video description and go check out my trades. I do them so that you can see that you can win in trading. There's a legitimate formula you can use to trade that I've kind of come up with on my own that works for me. Because I used to do options trading back in the day, and I still trade those type of names. So if you ever want to get a one-on-one with me about how I trade my system, there's the link in the video description, calendly.com/Lamont Tyson. And until that next sexy as hell video, y'all, I am out. Enjoy your day. Happy Cinco de Mayo and happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers out there. You guys make the world go round.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.